Today we're going to create a really fun birthday card. It's just a unique fold. It's so easy and yet so pretty. Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. I'm so glad you guys are joining me. Today it's time for another Tuesday tip video. So today's card is, you know what, I don't even know what to call it. Do I call it like a side opening card, or you know what? Let's just call it a really cool fun fold. How about that? Guys, this is a really simple and fun card to make. I'm excited to teach it to you, and I've got tips and tricks along the way. So let's get started. I think you're going to really enjoy today's cards. I'll tell you what, we're going to start with this one. This one is very me, okay? I love all things retro. Stay tuned for an important message. Happy birthday. So this is going to be a really great card, a good masculine card, or for the girls as well. Before I go over all the measurements, I do want to let you know there is a free download that goes along with today's video. So you'll have all the measurements, so no need to write those down. You're going to have photos, a complete supply list. In fact, you can click or scan the QR code to come back and watch the video again if you need a little refresher. And if you're in the United States, friends, I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. You can click this image right here and you can order any of the supplies I use on either one of my cards today. I'd love to take care of you and your Stampin' Up! Needs. So with that, let's create a card. I have two pieces of Coastal Cabana. This one here is for the base of my card, and this is a 4 1/4 by 10 inches. Now I do have this scored, so with the 10 inches up at the top, you're going to score at 4 1/4 and 8 1/2. This little piece is right here for my cute little retro TV. This is just a 2 3/4 by 2 inch. I have 3 pieces of basic black. This one here is a 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. I have a 1 1/4 by 4, and this one here is a 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. 3 pieces of basic white, a 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, a 1 inch by 3 3/4, and a 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. When you order photopolymer stamp sets from Stampin' Up, there is a free window sheet right there inside. And guys, you're going to cut this on your paper trimmer with ease. It is great, but what a great way to upcycle. To make sure it's good and clean, use these little alcohol swabs. I use these on so many things. I clean my clear blocks. I clean my scissors of glue, or if I've got glue here, like look, here's some on my table. Nope, it's gone now. I'm telling you, these things are great, but I just use those to super clean my window sheet. See, really nice. So that is all good to go. I'm going to let that dry. And I almost forgot. So to create these images here, I've got just a little scrap. This is about a 1 1/4 by 3 inches of silver foil. You guys ready to get started? I'll tell you what, I think we're actually going to start with our television set. So for this card, I'm going to use the Tune In bundle. And I'm telling you, this set is so much fun. I love it. So I'm going to start here with this television set, and then we're going to need the opening as well. So this is the 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. I want to make sure I have that right. You're going to die cut your television from right in the center of this. And the reason why, we're going to use that piece as a layer here in a minute. But I hate to make layers and not use what's underneath. So I'm going to add my little inside of my TV right there. I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. And to do that, we're going to use base plate 1, thin die adapter 2, and then cutting plate 3. Line up your pieces. We'll add another cutting plate 3, and we'll run this through the machine. And since my machine is out, let's go ahead. We're going to get the pieces to our TV. By the way, this one has 3 images on it. And then let's take these really fun antennas. I'm going to show you my little trick. I'm going to put that one there. This one will kind of tuck right inside. I'm going to use a little multi-purpose glue to kind of put my little TV together here. All right, that looks great. So it's time to bring in that window sheet. And to add that, we're going to use mini glue dots. Now, I'm going to actually adhere the mini glue dots onto the window sheet. And I'm just going to put these in each corner. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some here on this longer section. So that would be the 2.5-inch section. And I'm not worried about any of this being straight because it's not going to be seen. But now we have a screen to our television. All right, we're going to do some stamping. I'm going to bring in my Memento black ink and my Stay Tuned for an Important Message. We're going to stamp that right here in the middle of that piece of Coastal Cabana. I'm going to use mini Stampin' Dimensionals here. And we're going to come really close to the opening of the TV and just add those right there onto the window sheet. All right, so you can see I went all the way around that. I'm going to bring this in and we are going to center that up in a Coastal Cabana ink pad. And we're going to add these little fun retro stars. We'll stamp a set right here. I'm going to go ahead and flip this around just so it has a little variety. And now we can add this to that piece of basic black. All right, see, this is just a great way to use our layers wisely. This is one of my favorite Tuesday tips, actually. We're going to adhere that right on top, and we're going to set this off to the side because we're going to do a little more stamping. We're going to come back in with those stars, and let's stamp them all along the side, all right? And again, I'm rotating the stamp around. I'm going to take the happy birthday stamp. I'm going to go at an angle. Another one of my favorite tips. If you're one that struggles with stamping straight, go ahead and stamp at an angle like it was meant to be that way. Let's repeat that on that little strip of basic white. We're going to take the basic white, and this is simply going to adhere onto that larger basic black, and then our stamped strip will go inside the basic white. Guys, it's time to put a card together. It really is just this easy. All right, so we're going to fold and crease our score lines, and I'm going to open this up. Let's take the basic black. We're going to add that, and can you see there's just a really fine border, okay? So it's not going to go all the way to the edge. I'll just add my multi-purpose glue right there, adding this. So this was cut just a little bit smaller. That's what's going to help this card to close, all right? With that, we'll add this fun strip right here. And because no one will ever see what we did back here, we're going to add this to the front of our card. I love this color combination, Coastal Cabana, basic black and basic white. It is just so retro. All right, this piece back here is going to make a great backing to adhere our TV at a fun little angle. And look at that, such a fun card. This is going to fit easily into a medium-sized envelope, so it's going to be able to mail. And with this little flap down here at the bottom, it also is a great one to stand. All right, are you ready to see another card? Don't forget about the free download that I have for you that goes along with today's video. I'd love for you to have that so when you're ready to recreate the cards, you'll have everything you need. You'll find that free download at simplysimplestamping.com, or just look down in the YouTube description. I'll have a direct link for you. So this card was created with the Cake Fancy stamp set. Can I be honest? I've had this stamp set for a while, and for some reason it was a little intimidating until I played with it. Do you love it? It's beautiful and it is so much fun. So I'm really glad I pulled this one out. We're going to let Petunia Pop be our focus color. Measurements are exactly the same. So 4 1/4 by 10, scored at 4 1/4 and 8 1/2. I've got just a little piece because this has just a little tiny sentiment on it. A 1 3/4 by 1. The lemon lolly pieces are the same as the basic black. So this was that 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, a 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and a 1 1/4 by 4. Our basic whites are the same with the addition of one more piece. So again, we've got a 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. I've got a few additional pieces here on the basic white. So this one is a 3 1/8 by 3 7/8. 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. I need 2 pieces this time. Here, this is a 1 by 3 3/4. And this little guy, this is for a sentiment. This is 3/4 of an inch by 1. Nope, I take that back. That is 1 1/2. All right, let's get to stamping. Cake Fancy has a lot of pieces to it, and you're going to have a really great time with this one. Can I tell you, when you see it in gray, it's just not all that impressive, is it? Okay, well, once we stamp and create, you're going to fall in love with this set. I'm bringing in lots of pretty colors today. So, crumb cake, lemon lolly, soft sea foam, petunia pop, and summer splash. And we're going to start with the summer splash. Now, this style of stamp set is what we like to call a distinctive stamp set. So you notice all the detail, all this shading that's already built in. So I've got some tips on creating with this style of stamp set. I'm actually going to bring in just some scratch paper, all right, because I kind of want to test my ink pad before I start stamping on my cardstock. So one of the tips with this is you want to tap very lightly, all right? We don't want, there's all this detail, but we don't want ink getting deep down inside. So tap like you're kissing a baby. I'm going to test, and you want to just kind of press, don't press really hard. Yeah, that's looking good. If this starts to get uber blotchy, here's what you can do. I've got my handy dandy plastic spoon. This has been in my stamp room forever. And what you want to do is just kind of press that ink that's sitting right on top. Just press it down a little bit, not too hard. We just want to kind of get that little top layer of ink off. This you can just clean on your chamois or rinse under cool water. So now we're going to put this cake stand right here at the bottom of our basic white cardstock. Now let's add some cake. Well, crumb cake, of course, right? Tap lightly. Now we'll add that to our cake stand. Perfect. Now we want some frosting, right? Of course we want frosting. Frosting's the best part of cake. And we're going to use this little stamp here. It's actually a candle, but you know what? It's also icing. So I'm going to actually stamp right here on top of the cake. I'm going to ink it up again, line it up on one side, line it up on the other side. We've got some petunia pop cake or some icing. Now we'll add another piece of cake and we'll go right on top. And now we'll add the top of our cake. You know what? This is another one. I think I want to test it first. It also kind of gives me that opportunity to practice a little bit. Yep, I think that looks really good. All right, it looks actually quite tasty. It does look good, doesn't it? Now we've got some frosting to go down the side. Right, I mean, it really is a beautiful stamp set. Now, there is this pretty little bow, and I just couldn't resist it, all right? And so I've got a little tiny gap. Can you see that little tiny gap? Not that I did it on purpose, but this little bow is going to fill that in so nicely. So I'll go right inside there, and yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. Now we're going to do a little stamping in some lemon lolly. I'm going to bring in that scratch paper again. So this is for the inside of my card. And I am simply going to stamp some of these flowers down the side of my card. All right. We're going to use this flower a lot. Now we'll take one of our strips. This was that 1 by 3 3/4. And let's just randomly stamp some more. Now on this last one, I need 3, all right? 1, we're going to cut these out. So give yourself plenty of space so you can cut these out. 1, 2, 3. We're going to come back in with our crumb cake, and we've got this pretty little center. Really just looks really soft and pretty with these lemon lolly flowers. So I'm going to repeat that here on the other 2 pieces that I stamped. And now in our soft sea foam, we will add some little leaves. By the way, so this little leaf, it has 2. But I found if you want to add a little extra, you can actually go right in between, kind of make your leaves a little bit bigger. What I did on mine is I just kind of did some of them that way. Others, I just left the 2 leaves. So it just gave some nice variety. Now on these 3 flowers, I'm not going to add the leaves because we're going to cut those out. I am going to go ahead and do that for you now. Here's a great tip for fussy cutting. Keep your scissors straight and move your cardstock. I had a friend share this tip with me, and boy, did it make a difference. And funny enough, she said she learned it in kindergarten. Boy, Miss Brown didn't teach me that in kindergarten. She is still my favorite teacher, but this tip would have been real handy in kindergarten. All right, let's get the last of this flower cut out. Let's adhere our cake. Yes, I'm not cutting any layers, and it kind of breaks my heart. But it is what it is. I didn't have dies for this one. By the way, this one, yes, I messed up, so I had to flip it over, but that works for me. We'll add this one, the pretty side, not my messed up side. And we'll add that there. We'll add our flowers there on the flap and our cake here on the front. All right, I've got 2 of those flowers, and I am just going to adhere those right there. You notice I just kind of gently laid them there so I could lift them to add more leaves. I just kind of like to use that visual. All right, so we'll add a flower there. I'll use a Stampin' Dimensional to add 1 more. A little summer splash and petunia pop. And we're going to say, time for cake. All right, and this little one, we have a happy birthday, a birthday wishes. That will fit perfect inside there. I think I'll try to stamp that one more time. We'll add the inside of our card. My sentiment's going to kind of hang off the side, so I can see just a little bit of glue. It'll kind of just sneak over there. I've got a couple dimensionals there on my sentiment, my birthday wishes. And there is one embellishment that I think screams birthday, and that's the adhesive backed discs. So we will add just wherever you feel like it just needs a little glimmer. There we go. Isn't it? It's just a unique card. I love it. I hope that you were inspired by today's cards and you picked up some good tips on how to create just kind of a different, unique card. You are going to have a great time creating these. I promise. Whatever image works here, have fun. But I got to tell you, Cake Fancy stamp set is quickly becoming a favorite. And, well, anything retro is my cup of tea. Maybe it's yours too. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I hope that you enjoyed that unique little fun fold. Remember, if you love the video, would you give me that thumbs up on YouTube? It's always so nice to see. And if you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button, ring the bell, and YouTube will let you know whenever I'm back with another video. I'd love to have you join in. Guys, thank you again for being here. Can't wait to stamp with you next time. Bye.